that we just downloaded, the full thing. Cool, so that's the first step. Get everything, then we can put it in Ableton. Bring the full song. Now, Ableton might warp it, so just make sure you click unwarp, or you can change it in the settings. Turn off auto warp long samples, which is what I have. You can go here, record warp launch, auto warp long samples, turn that off. That's how I have mine set. Then we're going to load up the stems. And you want it set like that because of all these stems we're going to be adding. You want to make sure that it's easy. And we'll warp it ourselves. Now you see when you drag it in, it drags like this. So when you drag your stems, hold Command so they stack on top of each other. This is the first step. Put your stems in, put the beat in. We're using the beat because we want to be able to get everything on grid perfectly. And then we'll line up the stems to the original beat. This is the original song. Yeah! Cool. Some stems, bass, some drums, instrumental. Now, all this warping stuff won't work if there's multiple speeds in the song. So usually Western music like trap, hip hop, or dance will be in the same speed, like house 128, for example, or dubstep 140. But some songs, like guitar songs, old school songs, they'll change the BPMs through different sections of the song, which makes it a lot more difficult. So start easy and pick a song with the same speed. And we need to know two things before we get started. The original speed of the song, House Party. And then we need to know the key of the song, which is the scale or the notes being played on the keyboard. This is what the scale, A scale looks like, D minor, for example. You can Google House Party Meek Mill key, and there's information, but we shouldn't trust this information because they're using different algorithms, lots of different results. You'll see. Just want to be careful. Mixed in Key is a program that's used a lot, or you can use the Key Finder, which is free for the Mac, and we can simply drag in the sample to see what key it's in. It says here E flat, M stands for minor. So if we look at the keyboard and we find E flat, you'll see it's here. E flat is also D sharp. So that means we're writing in D sharp minor. That's what this song's in. It's in D sharp minor. So if we make a song that's in D sharp minor, it will work perfectly and flow. But if our song's in like F minor or D minor, we would have to move it. So for example, I make my music in D minor, but this is at D sharp minor. So that means we would go from D sharp, step 1 down, and we would transpose it or move it down 1 semitone to get to D. And then we would do that for all the stems. Basically, you get them all and you can pitch them down -1 to get to D minor. And when you do that, you want to make sure you're warped as well so that it pitches correctly. So that's preparing you for the pitch, for the scale. That's the most important thing. And the second most important thing is going to be lining up everything to the beat grid in Ableton. So we're going to start warping it, making it look good. This scale that we're using, D minor, is wrong. So we're going to pull up D sharp minor, and then we'll be able to see exactly these are the notes that are being played in the original song. So if we make a remix or bootleg, we want to make sure that we're in harmony and all these notes in the original song line up with the song that we're making, or vice versa. That's the goal. And same thing with the time. We need this metronome. So right now, Ableton says 140. This metronome is the speed of the song. Everything should line up to this metronome. That's the next goal. If we turn this down, you can hear it. So here it starts to get off time. It's not on beat with this metronome. They need to be perfectly like 1, 2, 3, 4. They need to line up. So what we have to do is we have to warp the sample. So this is the original. You hit a warp, and you always want to make sure in complex because this is how you pitch the best. Ableton is an OG because of Complex and Complex Pro, so use Complex. BPM, we have to put the original BPM. This is really important. You always put the original BPM here so that this song will line up to this BPM up here. We could once again Google it, but this information isn't always correct. All right, so we want to do a better, more efficient method since we're producers. You could just tap the BPM and you can figure out exactly what it is. So I use this second website. And while listening to the song, we're going to tap to the beat. Just like DJs, you're counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 to the beat.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. You have to find the beat first, right? 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So now I will tap the key on my keyboard, one of these keys, to the beat. So that's what we're going to do now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3.
You know I'm always in favor,
1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. This is where it's landing at. 160. So that's the original speed, is 160 beats per minute. Now, we just Googled this. Look at what it said. 108. You know what I'm saying? So already Google is trying to set us up for failure. We can't let that happen. Don't let Google bring you down. Go over here, put the original BPM, which we just figured out is 160 beats per minute. Then we have to make sure that all these little snares and kicks line up with the grid that's behind it. So these lines, that's the goal. So if you hold Command and move left and right, it will not lock into the grid. Otherwise, it will lock into the grid. I'm holding Command and I'm like lining it up to the line, zooming in, lining it up to the line, and making sure that now everything else is lined up. So we listen with the metronome. So if the original song is at 160 beats per minute, that's really fast. And right now we're slowing the original song down because it's in 140. So we're going to speed this up to 160 so we can kind of hear what the original sounded like. You hear the metronome starts getting in time? Oh, it's starting to get off time now. Hear that? It's like getting away from the beat. Cool. And then what we want to do too is check to make sure that it's 160 in all parts of the song, right? 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Who you think she stay with? This that kid in play shit. Your main chick got night job. You can get a day shift. I'ma hit her from the back.
160.
Get her face shit. We gon' make it. So rock all of my.
Cool. Yeah, so 160. So then we're going to make sure that we can line this up perfectly. Technically, we can delete that little thing and just start on the snare. We're like starting on a downbeat, basically. Moving it to the front. And our goal is to get all these snares lined up. And you see how they're kind of starting to line up, but it's like off. This one was lined up, you see, to this line. Our goal now is to line them up to these lines. And you see they're starting to get off time. See what's starting before the line? That's a problem. So we're going to hit warp. We're going to hit warp again. We're going to re-warp it. Hit yes. We're in 160.
Yeah. Dramatic nigga. Yeah.
See the snare starting to get off. So we're going to try to see what's going on here. So we're going to zoom on in. And we're going to try to unwarp it. Now, once unwarped, it's going to be in 160. So technically, it should line up perfectly to the grid, which is also at 160. So that's what we're going to check now.
Yeah. Yeah. Dramatic nigga. Yeah. I tell her meet me in the bathroom. I fuck her out of water, running her for knocking.
Now, you see how the kick and bass starts here? I can also try to line up like the main section here, just to make sure there's no funny business at the first 8 bars. Gonna go a little bit before here.
Yeah.
Definitely some weird timing issues at the beginning, so we're gonna check the original.
Yeah. Yeah. Dramatic nigga. Yeah. I tell her meet me in the bathroom. I fuck her out of water, running her for knocking at the door, and she screaming. I tell her meet me in the bathroom. I fuck her out of water, running her for knocking at the door, and she screaming.
House party. I'ma play the DJ Marlon.
Yeah.
You know I'm always there forever, man.
Yeah, it's showing.
I tell her meet me in the.
It's showing 160, so we're gonna hit warp. We're triple checking, making sure that it's perfectly at 160. We're going to go to this first transient. See how Ableton makes these transients? We're going to double click it to make a warp marker. We'll set the beginning here. From here, you can right click it and warp. Start at 160 BPM. And then we're going to listen now and visually look if they're lined up.
Yeah. Yeah. Dramatic nigga. Yeah. I tell her meet me in the bathroom. I fuck her out.
See how it's still off a little bit? We were close. See, it shifted to the right, but not enough. So we're going to go back. And this time we're going to warp from, just warp here straight. This should line up and hit 9. Boom. See that? That's some good news. Cool. So then now we're going to play it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sometimes I'll have to do these little tricks to get it warped.
I tell her meet me in the bathroom. I fuck her out of water, running her for knocking at the door, and she screaming. I tell her meet me in the bathroom.
We're still pretty good. Now the real check is to see if it starts to fade off time at the end. So we'll go to the end, test to see if it's still on time, and if it is, we're really good. It's kind of off. You see how we're starting to delay, starting to shift off. You can hear it a little and we can see it. So it's an issue there. Some songs are definitely very finicky. What we're going to do is kind of like grab this transient here instead. Maybe set the one here. Do a warp from here straight. Maybe listen to that again at the beginning. These are lining up good. You sound fine. Let's make sure this downbeat is perfectly at the after 8 bars at 9. Yep. Go check the middle. Good, and then go look over here. Looks like we did it, boys. Alright, so remember the beginning of the song had this weird vocal. We had to remove all the extra special effects stuff and then started the downbeat. On top of that, we started perfectly on the downbeat. Okay. Make a warp marker like I did here. Set the 1 because this is where it starts. Then warp from here straight so that it follows the warping. Remember, you can try all these, but usually warp from here straight is really good. Works for me a lot in the past. And then now we have this warp. So we have to do the same thing to the others, these stems. So what we're going to do is just first make a chop perfectly like this. So I'm going to follow the same steps. Line up the downbeat. Move to the left. We can then warp all these. Hit warp. They should be warping at 160. Yep. And then we're going to listen to make sure these are on time. We can tell by the drums because drums should be perfectly on time. Check in the middle. Here it's like off. So these are going to need that treatment, right? So we're going to do the same exact treatment to each stem. We're going to do these drums first. Warp the drums 160. You see we makes those warp markers. And it looks like everything, if we zoom into the end, see how they're all lined up? See that? That's what we're looking for. So the drums are warping easy, bass not. Check in the middle. Perfect metronome. Sounds easy. Instrumental, we probably won't need, but we could still make sure this is warped real good. Easy set 1.1. Start at 160. We'll solo this and listen. Middle. End. Perfect. Other. This one should still be good. Set a nice 1-1. Or from here. Good thing is we won't even need the bass really. Main things we want are everything else except the bass, because we're going to be adding our own 808 and sub. So if this doesn't line up, it really doesn't matter. I think we're pretty good without it. Main thing we want are those vocals, the instrumental, some of the drums we can use as fills and stuff. This stuff, I'm going to double check this is on. Everything sounds in time in all sections. We can move on to vocals now.
Yeah. Dramatic nigga. Yeah. I tell her meet me in the bathroom. I fuck her out of water, running her for knocking. Billy Young Chris. Homie, I don't even want your bitch. You can they gon' ask you at the door, trying to get into. Only me and my niggas. Tell her bring a friend or two. Bottles out. Division niggas talking money, you should stop, boy. I fuck bitches by the group.
There's a really good chance that this song has some areas that go off time and stuff, so that's why Ableton has to do all this extra work when warping. Usually it doesn't take this long, but it's good that it did for this example, so you can see the extra steps what we'll have to do. Usually you won't need to do the set point 1 and everything, because your 1 is usually set pretty perfectly, but the intro messes it up, and there may be some other issues too in the middle. So
in the bathroom,
gonna check the vocals now.
This bottom, you know why them honeys and bitch. House party poppin' though. Lights, camera, action. We gon' they gon' ask you at the door.
Cool, and we'll delete the bass. So now we have the original. We have the drums. We have the instrumental. We have the other, the synths, the vocals.
Yeah. I'ma play the DJ.
Now, since these are perfectly in time, we can easily just like move the vocals. So like if you needed vocal fills, you could just Command E, like a little block, put it down, have a nice little vocal fill, like a little pre-drop or a vocal fill. So now it becomes like Legos. You just simply take little blocks out
in the bathroom
and have fun with your phrases and your syllables. This is where it becomes nice. Cool. And then obviously we're at 160, but then we can move this down to like 100, for example. Everything now syncs up perfectly in time to what we change it to. We'll turn off the original. So drum and bass. So maybe like a little break beat while it's playing. Then obviously with the Sims, now we can start taking stuff out. So we have the instrumental playing right now. I'm gonna turn that off. Turn the metronome off. Turn the drums off.
I'ma play the DJ Marlon.
We have lots of different areas to work with now.
Dramatic nigga. I tell her meet me in the bathroom. I fuck her out of water, running her for knocking at the door.
Now these are officially warped. These are a lot easier. Sometimes though, you'll get tracks that have different BPMs in it, like a reggae song, for example. So something like this, for example, becomes a lot more difficult because the BPM is different in different sections. So watch, we'll tap BPM. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 145. Then it changes right here. It speeds up to 155. So at 145 now at 155. So stuff like that is, you have to be aware. So basically when you're warping, you know this is 145. Right when this kick starts, that's where we can start warping at 155, right? So technically the beginning is 145. We can move this over here. And then this is our main thing. I'm going to put it on a line on the downbeat. I know it's 155, so I put 155 here. Turn the metronome on. No, it's not on time yet, so we're going to set the 1. Now see how this kick is off the line? These are the things you want to be looking for. Everything should be lining up to these lines, basically. Then I'm going to hit warp from here straight. Look at that. We're lined up now. Now it's on time. Yes, sir. And then obviously we can then start slowing it down. Yeah. And then of course now you can start remixing, flipping, having fun. Use this as a reference track. You can see how long people make their intros, outros, everything you need. Warping vocals is amazing. Ableton goes hard. Let me know if you have any questions. Hit me up. Got you. Peace out.